Education teachers play a big role in supporting learning of students, whether that's pushing into their classrooms, working together closely with students' teachers to maybe come up with a plan or a more individualized learning method that is specific to that students' learning needs. Special education can go from one extreme to another. So it's important for students to have their own learning plan, and the special education teacher has to learn how to adapt and also improve plans for these students to be successful. SPEDS teachers not only push in and do inclusion, but they also pull students into their own classrooms as well, and maybe create small group instruction, maybe even getting one-on-one time, whatever is needed for that child or that student for that specific skill especially. They can help fill in those gaps and support the classroom teachers collaboratively. And special education teachers advance learning and planning by continuously being in contact with families, parents, and teachers, and of course the student, and also talking with special education teachers who maybe are on their team, who they work with, reaching out to their admin to give different ideas of what could work and what might not work. But as a general education teacher myself for the last 8 years, the role I provide for supporting learning, improving planning and practices, that every single day I work on developing relationships with my students. I work on learning students inside the classroom, outside the classroom. What do they love? What do they hate? What are their strengths? What are their weaknesses? What are things that they lack? Not even just educationally. And with that, I'm able to create lessons and structure my learning time around that to bring out the most potential in students. And it also revolves around what is needed for each of them. It's very important to me that I uphold my professionalism inside and outside of the classroom as well as on campus and off campus. I work in a very small town, and I can be driving down the road. I could be at Dollar General. I could be at one of my son's baseball teams or basketball teams, or my other child. I have children in 3 different age groups, and so I'm able to see students who I've taught in the past, who I'm currently teaching, or maybe just taught last year. It's pretty neat, and I always have to make sure that I'm upholding my professionalism, the way I dress, the way I speak, the way I carry myself, the way I speak to my own children, me as a mother, etc. And I always have to make sure that I'm professional, because as a mother myself, I would expect, if I were to see my students, my kids' teachers out somewhere, I would hope that I could still see them in a light of being professional and being that mentor and being that person in their life who they're with more than me most of the day. So at the end of the day, we are all here to help out kids and get them where they all need to be, no matter what. And I've actually worked in districts where we collaborate with the other campus in town, and we've even collaborated with even different districts to see what works best and to get new ideas, and what they have discovered that works really great with different grade levels and especially different curriculums. Dispositions that I currently have that have helped me become a great educator is being a mom, for one. I always tell people that being a mom made me a better teacher, and being a teacher made me a better mom. And what I mean by that is I have expectations as a parent that I want for my kids and what I expect out of their teacher, and I try to become that person every single day. I also try to pretend that in class while I'm teaching that maybe I have a parent in my class, and if they were in my classroom right now, would I be speaking the way that I speak, or would I be teaching the way that I teach? Would I be as helpful? Really building that character as a teacher, and I think that really changed me as an educator and made me become who I am. I have relationships with students of all ages. In the mornings, I have to kick people out of my classroom because I'll have students from upstairs come down, say hi to me, tell me they wish they were in my class again. I have parents who still reach out to me and tell me wonderful things that their kids still say about me. And developing that trust in a small community is very, very important. I think that's definitely helped me become a better educator. I do think that when discussing personal biases and expectations of teachers and how that can affect them is very important. I think this is actually something that every teacher should think about. I think that every teacher has an image or a perception of a role model student or an ideal student. And I think that answer would be different for every teacher, if you ask them, because it has to come from somewhere. But where does it come from? Does it come from their previous district? Does it come from who they were as a student growing up? Does it have to do with religious views? Does it have to do with political views, cultural identity, all of those things? This has affected me as an educator, as a Christian woman, because I raise my own children to pray, and I raise my children to have a mindset of a Christian and what that looks like in everyday life. And I try to instill that in my students, not specifically to become Christians, but for them to have morals and characteristics that resemble a Christian person, because I truly believe that can teach a child so many things and help them grow up to be good students, friends, daughters, sons, parents one day, a student and a college student, an athlete, really in every aspect of life.